It was a moment that took the world by surprise. The Oval Office, where history was made with every decision, was about to become the stage for another jaw-dropping political spectacle. President Donald Trump, known for his often unpredictable moves, was standing at a podium, a stack of papers in his hand. Behind him, the seal of the United States glinted in the light, a reminder of the immense power he wielded. But today, that power was about to be used in a way no one anticipated. Effective immediately, Trump began, his voice steady but laden with gravitas, we will be cutting federal aid to the Gaza Strip. This is a direct response to the situation unfolding and the advice I've received, most notably from one of the most brilliant minds of our time, Elon Musk. The room fell silent. Musk's name had never been more controversial. The tech mogul had, just days before, walked into the White House uninvited and proposed an unexpected and radical solution to the Gaza conflict. In a tense Oval Office meeting, he had argued that the U.S. should take a far more aggressive stance, not just diplomatically, but militarily. He suggested direct intervention and even hinted at taking control of the region. While some saw it as an outrageous idea, others, most notably Trump, saw the potential for real change. But now, the implications of Musk's words were becoming clear. Trump's decision to slash aid to Gaza was not just a political move, it was a bold, unpredictable statement that would shake the world to its core. The U.S., under Trump's leadership, was taking an unprecedented step toward reshaping the Middle East. And Elon Musk had just become an unlikely catalyst for that shift. The phone call between President Trump and Elon Musk had been brief, yet powerful. Musk had made it clear that he believed the U.S. could no longer sit idly by as the situation in Gaza deteriorated. The region had been a flashpoint for decades, with millions of people suffering from poverty, violence, and the lack of any real solutions. Musk had suggested that the U.S. could bring real stability, not just through diplomacy, but through direct intervention and long-term governance. Trump, always willing to entertain bold ideas, had listened intently. He was intrigued by Musk's vision, and while he wasn't ready to endorse every part of the plan, he recognized that there was something to be said for taking a fresh approach. That call had set off a chain of events that would lead to Trump's announcement just days later. Now, as the cameras flashed and reporters scribbled down every word, Trump stood firm, issuing a statement that would reverberate across the globe. We've been giving billions to Gaza, year after year, and we've seen nothing in return but chaos and violence, Trump continued. It's time for change. We can't keep throwing money into a region that refuses to take responsibility for its future. And with the advice of Elon Musk, I've made the decision to end federal aid to Gaza, effective immediately. The room erupted with questions. How could the U.S. justify cutting aid to a region already struggling with poverty and violence? Wasn't this decision going to inflame tensions in the Middle East even further? Trump wasn't fazed. We're not cutting aid because we want to punish them. We're cutting aid because we want to see real change. We want to see a path to stability, not more handouts that enable failure. We need a new plan, a bold plan. And that's exactly what we're going to get. As Trump made his announcement, the ripple effects began to unfold. Across the globe, world leaders began to react. Some supported Trump's bold decision, seeing it as a necessary step toward accountability. Others, especially in the Middle East, decried it as a reckless move that could escalate tensions and undermine peace efforts. But it wasn't just world leaders who were reacting, ordinary people were, too. Social media exploded with debates over the U.S. decision. Proponents hailed Trump's stance as a much-needed shakeup, a signal that the U.S. was no longer going to play by the old rules. Critics, however, warned that it would only make things worse, pushing the region further into chaos. For Musk, the situation was starting to spiral in ways he hadn't fully anticipated. The tech mogul had suggested a path for change, but he wasn't the one who had to deal with the political fallout. And while he was no stranger to controversy, this was different. Cutting aid to Gaza could have real, tangible consequences. The world was watching, and Musk, who had just offered his advice, was now tangled in the web of global diplomacy. In an unexpected twist, Musk found himself at the center of a storm. A statement from one of his spokespeople read, Elon Musk has always believed in finding innovative solutions to global problems, but he did not advocate for a reduction in aid to Gaza. This decision was made solely by President Trump. Yet, despite this distancing, the damage had been done. Musk's name was now forever linked to one of the most controversial foreign policy decisions of Trump's presidency. Back in the Oval Office, Trump remained resolute. "People can criticize me all they want, but this is a new era of leadership," he said, speaking to the press. "No more business as usual. No more handing out money and expecting different results. We need to take action." The decision to cut federal aid to Gaza would go down in history as one of the most radical, controversial moments of Trump's presidency. Some would praise it as a necessary step toward real change, while others would view it as a reckless, short-sighted move that risked plunging the region into even greater chaos. But one thing was certain: the world would never be the same. In the aftermath of Trump's announcement, the political landscape began to shift. Behind closed doors, aides scrambled to deal with the fallout from the decision, while international leaders began to publicly weigh in on the potential consequences. Some Middle Eastern nations began to form coalitions, calling for greater cooperation among themselves to counterbalance the U.S. move. In Washington, debates raged about the long-term implications for American foreign policy and its influence in the region. But amidst the chaos, one person remained largely silent: Elon Musk. The tech mogul had become the unwitting catalyst for a monumental change, but he had not been prepared for the tidal wave that followed. Despite the backpedaling from his team, his name was now inseparable from the decision. As the world watched, one question loomed: would Trump's gamble pay off, or would it spark an even greater crisis? In the weeks following Trump's decision, the world saw a tense standoff play out. Some argued that the cutting of aid to Gaza was a necessary step to finally force the region to take responsibility. Others believed that it was a reckless gamble that could have disastrous consequences. As for Musk, he remained publicly quiet on the matter, perhaps realizing that his push for a bold new strategy had ignited a political firestorm far beyond what he had intended. Whether he would continue to advise Trump, or whether the president's office would backtrack on the decision, remained to be seen. But for now, one thing was crystal clear: Donald Trump, aided by Musk's unexpected intervention, had made a political move that would send shockwaves through the Middle East and the world. The old world order was crumbling, and a new, unpredictable future was emerging. The question was no longer if there would be consequences, but how the world would respond.